One morning, your backyard is alive with birds. Cardinals flashing red at the feeder, chickadees chattering in the branches, a pair of doves cooing softly on the fence. Life feels full, almost magical. Then, without any warning, they vanish. The feeders sit untouched. The trees fall silent. Your yard goes from symphony to emptiness in a single day. You step outside, scan the branches, and wonder, did I do something wrong? Is it the weather? Or did they simply decide to leave? What if I told you the birds didn't actually leave? What if they're still right there watching you, but they've chosen to disappear in plain sight? And what if the real reason is far more incredible than you ever imagined? Stay with me, because today I'm revealing the hidden reason your backyard birds suddenly vanish, and exactly how to make them never want to leave again. This isn't just another feeding tip. This is the secret they've been keeping, the one that will change how you see every bird in your yard forever. Let me tell you what happened in my own backyard last spring. Last spring, I noticed it happening right here in my yard. One week, the place was packed. Bright cardinals, curious chickadees, even a pair of rose-breasted grosbeaks that had never visited before. I was out there every morning refilling the feeders, feeling like I had built a little sanctuary. Then Tuesday came. Nothing. Not a single bird. The sunflower seeds sat untouched. The suet cage swung empty in the breeze. I walked the whole yard, checked the usual perches, and felt this strange quiet settle over everything. It wasn't like they flew south. It was more like they had simply chosen not to be seen. That's when I started paying closer attention. And that's when I discovered the first hidden truth about your backyard birds. You've probably noticed it too. Some days they mob your feeders like it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Other days they act like your yard doesn't exist. You think it's random. It's not. The surprising fact is this. Birds don't disappear because the food ran out or the weather turned bad. They disappear because they are deliberately choosing invisibility, and they're doing it with a level of awareness that most people never suspect. Here's the science. Researchers at the University of Washington, led by Professor John Marsluff, have spent years studying how crows and other songbirds remember human faces and share that information with their flock. But it goes deeper than faces. Birds have an incredibly sophisticated threat assessment system hardwired into a part of their brain called the nidopallium. It's roughly the same size relative to body weight as the human neocortex. They don't just react to danger. They remember it, rank it, and teach it to their young. That means when something in your yard feels even slightly off, a new reflection, a cat that walked through yesterday, even the way you moved your chair, they don't just fly away for the moment. They mark your yard as higher risk and shift their entire daily pattern. They vanish on purpose. That is not a metaphor. Right now, in your backyard, individual birds are carrying mental maps of your space, updating them in real time and deciding whether today is a safe day to show themselves. They are watching you even when you cannot see them. And here's what blew my mind the most. Once I understood this, I realized those empty days weren't empty at all. The birds were still there, perched high in the trees or tucked behind thick leaves, observing everything. They hadn't abandoned my yard. They were simply waiting for the risk level to drop. But that was only the beginning. There's something even more incredible happening inside their minds that explains why some yards become magnets while others stay quiet. And I'll show you exactly what that is next. But that was only the beginning. There's a second layer most people never see. Your birds aren't just avoiding danger. They're playing a long game of trust. Once they decide your yard is safe, they don't treat it like a random stop. They treat it like a core part of their territory. And when they disappear, it's often because that trust is being carefully recalculated. The surprising fact is this. Birds remember individual yards for years, sometimes for their entire lives. They pass that knowledge through generations. A single bad experience can make an entire local flock avoid your space for months. But the opposite is also true. A few weeks of consistent safety can turn your backyard into one of the most valuable places in their mental map. Before we go deeper, you need to know one key thing about how birds actually think. Birds don't have big foreheads like mammals, but their brains are wired differently and in some ways more efficiently. First, they possess something called episodic-like memory. They remember not just where food is, but when it appears and who else was there. Cornell Lab of Ornithology studies show chickadees can recall the exact location of hundreds of hidden food caches for up to 6 months, adjusting for what they stored and when. Second, their vision is extraordinary. A single songbird can see ultraviolet light we cannot, detect movement at speeds that make our eyes seem slow, and process 4 times more visual information per second than a human. That means when they vanish from your view, they're often still watching you in incredible detail from cover. Third, they have a built-in magnetic compass in their eyes and a sophisticated internal clock that tells them exactly when to forage, when to hide, and when to sing. University of Washington research on corvids proves they can recognize specific human faces for years and teach their offspring to do the same. Fourth, hormones play a huge role. During breeding season, testosterone and estrogen shift their risk tolerance dramatically. A bird that boldly visits your feeder in spring might disappear completely in late summer while molting, because losing feathers makes them vulnerable and they instinctively know it. And fifth, they are highly social learners. One bird's decision to trust or avoid your yard spreads through the flock like a whisper network. What looks like random disappearance is actually coordinated intelligence. Try this simple test in your own yard today. Pick one spot, maybe near your feeder, and sit completely still for 10 minutes at the same time each morning for a week. Watch how the birds slowly reappear once they decide you are part of the background, not a threat. You'll see the exact moment trust clicks back in. If you want to understand what your birds are really doing, thinking, and remembering, hit subscribe right now. No sponsorships, no gimmicks. Just the secret life of the birds in your backyard. Because what we've covered so far is only the surface. The deeper truth about why they choose your yard or leave it empty will change how you feel every time you look out your window. And that revelation is coming next. But that was only the beginning. Here comes the part that still gives me chills every time I step into my yard. The deeper truth is this: your backyard birds aren't just visiting, they are choosing you. And when they disappear, it's not rejection. It's them protecting something far more valuable than a few seeds. The surprising fact is that certain birds form what scientists call site fidelity that lasts years. They treat safe backyards like permanent family assets. Marsluff's long-term studies in Seattle showed individual crows recognizing and remembering specific houses and people across generations, literally teaching their children which yards are safe havens. Your birds are doing the exact same thing. What it really means for you is this: those quiet, empty days are not failures. They are proof that your birds are thinking, remembering, and weighing your yard against every other option in their territory. When they vanish, they're often hiding in plain sight, monitoring you, waiting to see if today you prove worthy of their trust again. Imagine this: that cardinal you see every morning, he knows your face. He knows the sound of your back door. He knows exactly how long it takes you to refill the feeder. And when he disappears for 3 days, it's because something in his mental map flashed a yellow or red signal. Maybe your neighbor's cat passed through. Maybe you wore a bright new jacket. Maybe a hawk circled once too often. Whatever it was, he decided the risk was too high for his mate or his fledglings. So he pulled back. Not out of fear, but out of calculated wisdom. That is not a metaphor. Right now, the birds you love are running sophisticated risk-reward calculations inside brains that evolved over millions of years. They are choosing whether your yard deserves to be part of their legacy, the place where they raise young, store food, and survive winter. And here's the mind-blowing payoff. When they finally return, it means you passed the test. Your backyard has become one of the rare trusted places in their world. They're not just eating, they're investing in you. This changes everything about how you see them. Those birds aren't random visitors. They are neighbors with memories longer than yours, senses sharper than yours, and a quiet intelligence that has been watching your every move. But understanding this is only half the story. The real magic happens when you learn how to tip the scales so completely in your favor that disappearing becomes the last thing they ever want to do. And that's exactly what we're going to cover next. So what should you actually do today to make your birds never want to leave? Start with consistency. Birds trust predictable safety more than anything else. Pick one time each day, the same 15-minute window every morning, and refill your feeders before they arrive. Use the same high-quality mix: black oil sunflower seeds, Niger for finches, and sweat or mealworms when possible. Never let the feeders go empty for more than a single day. That reliability sends a powerful signal through their memory networks: this yard is worth the risk. Next, reduce the invisible threats they notice and you don't. Move any reflective objects that create sudden flashes. Keep cats indoors or install cat deterrents. Trim branches so birds have clear escape routes to thick cover within 10 feet of the feeder. Plant or place native shrubs and brush piles nearby. These give them the feeling of safety even when they're exposed. Then, become part of the background. Sit in the same chair at the same time each day, motionless, no sudden movements. Let them get used to your shape and your scent. After a week, you'll notice them relaxing around you. That cardinal that used to fly off, he'll start feeding just 10 feet away, watching you with calm curiosity instead of suspicion. Add layers they value. Offer water. A simple shallow dish or bird bath with moving water is pure gold. During molting season in late summer, provide extra protein with mealworms. When they're raising young, extra calcium sources like crushed eggshells or oyster shells. These small offerings speak directly to their hormonal priorities and long-term survival calculations. One more powerful step: create a quiet zone. Designate one part of your yard as no human access for a few hours each day. Let the birds claim it completely. The combination of reliable food, safety, and freedom creates a mental map entry that says this is one of our best places. Do these things consistently for 2 to 3 weeks and watch what happens. The mysterious disappearances become shorter and rarer. Your yard stops being a temporary stop and becomes a chosen home. You now hold the exact levers that control whether your birds stay or vanish. Use them, and something beautiful begins to happen. But the deepest emotional shift is still coming. What it truly means when your backyard becomes their permanent sanctuary. And here is the final truth that stays with you long after you walk back inside. When you follow these steps and your birds stop disappearing, something sacred shifts in your backyard. You are no longer just the person who puts out seed. You have become a trusted guardian in their ancient world. The same birds that once vanished at the sight of you now choose to stay, sing, raise families, and pass down the knowledge that your yard is safe. You will step outside one quiet morning and feel it. Dozens of eyes watching you, not with fear, but with calm recognition. That cardinal will tilt his head and keep eating. The chickadees will chatter their personal greeting calls. The doves will walk across your deck without flinching. They remember you. They trust you. And in their own quiet, intelligent way, they have accepted you as part of their home. This is the hidden gift almost no one ever discovers. Your backyard transforms from a random patch of grass into a living sanctuary where wild creatures choose to stay, season after season, year after year. You become connected to something much older and wiser than our daily human lives, a small, beautiful bridge between two different minds. Every time you look out your window from now on, you will carry this secret knowledge. You will know why they sometimes vanish. You will know exactly how to bring them back. And most importantly, you will know they are not just birds. They are neighbors with memories, decisions, and loyalties of their own. So go outside today. Start with that consistent refill. Sit still, watch, and let the magic begin. If you want to understand what your birds are really doing, thinking, and remembering, hit subscribe and join us here at Backyard Bird Mind. No sponsorships, no gimmicks, just the secret life of the birds in your backyard. I'll see you in the next video, and I'll see you out there, in your yard, where the real story is always unfolding. Until then, keep watching. They're already watching you.